Hi, welcome. I hope your week was a good one, that it had moments of joy and comfort for you, that it was a week of healing if that is what you needed, or laughter if that is the balm that you required. Perhaps it was a week of accomplishment or adventure or frustration or sadness. More than likely, it was a week that encompassed a multiplicity of emotions, moods, and states of mind. Given the ever-changing nature of our lives and the constant challenges of our world, I know that I find great solace and calm in our few moments together each week. So let us take our first pause, our first break to breathe, just to settle into a different state of mind and of presence. So let's just assume our postures for meditating with our feet on the ground and our bodies attentive. But again, let's let go. And I always like to do that by doing inventory. I think it works better from the top down. But if you prefer toes up, be my guest. So, just starting inside, from our scalps. And I've closed my eyes already, or you might want to softly gaze on something in the not too distant distance. Let's let go of our jaws, even our ears, but the attempt to wiggle them, our necks, our creaky, croaking necks. Oh my goodness. Our shoulders, let's scrunch them up and drop them. Age-old, weighted, let go. Our upper arms, our forearms, our hands resting in our laps. And then on the inside, let us release our tummies, the area around our waists and hips, our legs, our lower legs, our knees, our ankles. Let's twirl them around a bit, or just bounce them up and down on the ground. Wiggle our toes, and just let go. And now, with focused attention, let us inhale a deep, healing, full, mindful breath. And if we can, let's hold on to it for just a few extra seconds. And then release. And enjoy the exhale before we breathe in again. And on the inhale, I try to imagine filling every corner of my body from top to bottom, filling all those places we just released with air. And taking my time to do it. And then holding on. And then letting go. The wonderful thing about doing this is that it causes us to think just about inhaling and exhaling, which puts us right now, right here, right in this place, and relieves us for a few moments of all our other thoughts. Excuse me, in a kind of mini vacation, mini vacation. A break from all that goes on in our minds all day long. We inhale. As with so many in our community and around the world, I continue to be both heartsick and inspired by the horrific Russian invasion of Ukraine and the extraordinary leadership and defiance of President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people. All week I have been searching for some rare wisdom with which to make sense of a cruel and senseless situation. How many times must we relearn the lesson that tyranny is monumentally evil and seeks always to perpetuate itself at the expense of all and all others? What will we say of Zelensky's exceptional leadership and bravery if his people are not able to withstand the Russian assault? How is it possible that since last week, over 2 million Ukrainians are now refugees, and most of that number are women and children? How are we managing to breathe in and out, let alone taking a break to breathe, when there is so much injustice, pain, and suffering happening in front of our eyes and the eyes of the entire world? The questions keep coming, even while the answers are in very short supply. The one question I can answer is why we continue to live our lives even when there is such suffering in our world. It's simple. It will do neither those who are suffering nor ourselves any good if we stop our lives. There is hope in living good, decent, productive lives. And there is hope in living those lives with greater focus, attention, and mindfulness. That is what we seek to accomplish through our meditation. By practicing being present in just this moment, one moment at a time, we bring more of ourselves, even the whole of ourselves, to our work, our leisure, our relationships. In tribute, however, to those who are bringing the whole of themselves to this struggle and this battle for freedom, I thought I might share with you some mental images of Ukrainian Jews, currently and from the last few centuries, who have made essential contributions to Jewish thought and culture, and have also brought world-class talent to science, art, politics, and more. As Joel Weingarten has written, Ukraine has had a significant and vibrant Jewish community going all the way back to the Middle Ages, but the history of Ukrainian Jewry has been difficult. and often marked by periods of intense anti-Semitism. In addition, it was not always easy to live in a region that was frequently unstable. Borders shifted following the collapse of the Russian Empire and later the Soviet Union. And near constant persecution and surveillance led many Jews to emigrate elsewhere. But an astonishing number of Ukrainian Jews, whether they spent their entire lives in the country or traveled elsewhere, have made remarkable contributions to the world in art, culture, science, politics, sports, and more. Ukraine was also the birthplace of important Jewish developments, most notably Hasidism. The Baal Shem Tov was the founder of Hasidic Judaism, an Orthodox spiritual revivalist movement that has hundreds of thousands of adherents today. Born Israel ben Eliezer in 1698 in Okupy, Ukraine, Baal Shem Tov literally means master of the good name and is often abbreviated as Besht. That just takes the letters of Baal Shem Tov, the Bet, the Shin, the Taf, and puts them together. So let us pause and breathe in an air of joyous religious fervor. Perhaps let us try it on for just a few moments in our imagination, a few moments of breathing in and out. Hasidic fervor relies on music and movement and dance and those facets of our lives that are non-rational. So it would make sense that we could breathe with an internal smile, with an internal expectation of uplift from the process and of thanksgiving to God. Let me suggest that we continue to breathe as I punctuate our practice with the names of Ukrainian Jews who made a significant impact on our world. We take a deep breath. Golda Meir became internationally prominent when she was elected Prime Minister of Israel in 1969, but she was born in Kiev, Ukraine's capital, in 1898. Meir was the fourth woman in the world to serve as a head of state. Other Israeli leaders who were born in Ukraine include Israel's second prime minister after David Ben-Gurion. The second prime minister was Moshe Sharet, as well as his successor, Levi Eshkol. Shalom Aleichem was born Shalom Rubinovitz in 1859 in Pereyaslav, Ukraine. Shalom Aleichem is considered one of the most beloved Yiddish writers of all time. His short stories about Tevye the dairyman inspired, as you well know, the hit musical and film Fiddler on the Roof. Mila Kunis was born in Chernivtsi, Ukraine, in 1983. The actress and her family fled the Soviet Union when she was 7 years old. Her family was resettled in Los Angeles with the help of the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. Kunis ascended to fame by starring in That 70s Show and has had major roles in dozens of shows and films since then. Menachem Mendel Schneerson, known to many as just the Rebbe, was the last Rebbe of the Chabad Lubavitch movement and is considered one of the most influential 20th century Jewish leaders. While Schneerson famously led the Chabad movement from its Brooklyn headquarters, he was actually born in Mykolaiv, Ukraine, in 1902. Every one of these names evokes a response. And let us see how we can weave that response into this breath, this inhale, this exhalation. Oh my. And if you are yawning, that's a good thing. That's what this does. Sometimes it's just from the relaxation of taking that in that breath and releasing it. Sometimes the action of the breathing itself induces the physical response of a yawn. In the world of sports, figure skater Oksana Bayul made history in 1994 when she became the first athlete representing post-Soviet Ukraine to win a gold medal at the Olympics. While Bayul was raised Orthodox Christian, she discovered and embraced her maternal Jewish ancestry when she was 25 years old. Since retiring from ice skating, she has served as a trustee for the Tikva Children's Home, a Jewish orphanage in Odessa. While swimmer Lenny Kreselberg represented Team USA at the 2000 and 2004 Summer Olympics, the gold medalist was born and raised in Odessa until his family fled and resettled in Los Angeles when he was 14. World-renowned tennis player Elina Svitolina won a bronze medal for Ukraine at the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Svitolina was also a semi-finalist at Wimbledon and the US Open. We might breathe in a bit of pride, but let it be about our own lives as well. Even something as simple as pausing for this moment during our days. To seek to become more present in this moment. To seek to be more available to everyone around us. and not to be distracted by extraneous thoughts and concerns that will always occupy our minds. Selma Waxman was born in 1888 in a small village outside of Vinnytsia, Ukraine. As a researcher at Rutgers University in New Jersey, Waxman discovered a number of antibiotics which led to the first successful treatment of tuberculosis. Waxman was awarded the 1952 Nobel Prize in Medicine for his contributions to microbiology. There have been many other Ukrainian Jewish scientists as well. Born in Donetsk, Ukraine, in 1948, Natan Sharansky is one of the most famous refuseniks who advocated for Soviet Jewry's right to emigrate during the 1970s and 80s. Between the years of 1977 and 1986, Sharansky was imprisoned for his activism. After being released, Sharansky immigrated to Israel and entered the world of politics there. He was awarded the Israel Prize in 2018. Hailed as one of the greatest pianists of all time, Vladimir Horowitz was born in Kiev in 1903. He left the Soviet Union at 22 years old and went on to reside in Berlin and New York. After winning dozens of Grammy Awards from the late 1960s to the early 1990s, Horowitz earned the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 1990. There have been many other remarkable Ukrainian Jewish musicians, including internationally renowned violinist and 6-time Grammy winner, Isaac Stern. Rav Nachman of Breslov, also known as Nachman from Uman, or Reb Nachman, was born in Medzhibits, Ukraine, in 1772. A grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, the master of the good name, Rav Nachman went on to found the Breslov Hasidic movement, which combined elements of mysticism with Torah writings. He moved to Uman in 1810 and died later that year. Today, Rav Nachman's grave in Uman is a pilgrimage site that receives tens of thousands of visitors each year. As we breathe in and breathe out, Rav Nachman was the one who said, "There is nothing so whole as a broken heart." Born near Volhynia, Ukraine in 1873, Chaim Nachman Bialik is remembered as a pioneer of modern Hebrew poetry. He is just one of many Ukrainian Jews who molded early Israeli literature and Zionist thought. Achad Ha'am, an essayist who was also influential in the revival of Hebrew writing, was born in Skvira, Ukraine, to a Hasidic family in 1856. He is also considered the father of cultural Zionism. Ze'ev Jabotinsky, the founder of revisionist Zionism, was born in Odessa in 1880. Jabotinsky also established the Beitar Youth Movement and the Irgun, a paramilitary organization in pre-state Israel. Let us take a few more breaths. And we might think of the leadership of Zelensky and of other Jewish Ukrainians. There have been so many throughout history, and currently even. Zelensky has become the worldwide face of defiance and of courage. By way of conclusion and tribute to the brave Ukrainians, I would share with you this poem by Chaim Nachman Bialik, a Ukrainian himself. It is entitled A Summer's Day. When high noon on a summer's day makes the sky a fiery furnace, and the heart seeks a quiet corner for dreams, then come to me, my weary friend. A shady carob grows in my garden, green, remote from the city's crowds, whose foliage whispers secrets of God. Good, my brother, let's take refuge. Pleasure and tenderness, let us share in the sweet hidden prime of noon, and the mystery golden rays reveal when sunlight pierces the rich shade. When the black cold of a winter's night bruises you with its icy pinch, and frost sticks knives in your shivering flesh, then come to me, blessed of God. My dwelling is modest, lacking splendor, but warm and bright and open to strangers. A fire's in the grate, on the table a candle. My lost brother, stay and get warm. When we hear a cry in the howling storm, we will think of the destitute, starving outside. We will weep for them, honest, pitiful tears. Good friend, my brother, let us embrace. But when autumn approaches with rain and cloud, and the roof leaks, and there's moth in the heart, and the desolate world sinks sullen in mire, then, merciful brother, leave me alone. I would be alone in the barren time when the heart withers in slow decay, unseen, unknown. No stranger understands. Let me grieve alone in my silent pain. I pray that this week will bring an easing of pain, even while I fear that there will be an intensification of it. But let us stay attentive, mindful, present, ready to help. God bless you. Have a good week.